Hey, I'm Bree. Um, this is, I think, my 8th or ninth class at Full Sail. And basically, the title of my short film will be The Box for Libby, Love Mom. So the summary is Libby, she's home for summer and she doesn't know how critical her mom's health is. When she is cleaning up the mess in the garage hasn't been cleaned in a few months, she stumbles upon a box. And that box has letters from her mother. And these letters she started writing when she started getting sick with cancer lymphoma. And because of that, she started reading them, she started understanding them. And basically, the voiceover for Edna is basically describing to Libby that she is sorry that she didn't know it would come to this. She didn't want to tell Libby anything because she didn't want Libby to be not focused with her studies because she is studying and majoring in math, which is pretty cool. The inspiration of my film, honestly, it was just, I had something like in my mind about like a mom and a daughter that were like estranged, but like in the mom's final days, they finally decide like, oh, we're going to put our differences aside and just finally say what we need to say. As for my behind the scenes cuts, you can see that really well. The planning process, it was kind of hard at first because I didn't know what to expect. This is the first film I've ever actually really shot. Writing the script was my favorite because I could actually bring the characters to life. I could actually have them do whatever, I want them to do, or have them say whatever I want them to say. And Libby, I kind of pictured her as an old friend of mine because an old friend of mine had cancer herself and she was a clean freak. And Edna, I don't know why I made Edna the way she is. I might have thought of a woman lady figure that is a mother figure at some point. I don't remember. She just came into mind. And with that, the locations that I chose, I really thought that would really bring the storyline well, especially with the type of storyline that I did do with her mom in the hospital, with her, even though I tried to make someone's bedroom bed become a hospital bed, per makeshifting. And then it's like the car leaving, giving it like a sense that she's in a hurry because she's like, okay, I can't believe this is happening. And then like the garage, because obviously most of the story is in the garage. The most exciting things about making this was obviously the cuts, which as you just saw is funny because I did produce and direct this with two of my really good friends who we share the same interests and passions, and so it was fun to them too, and we never had a dull moment. That was like the best thing. The most challenging was finding corners, finding a good angle to where like my shadows didn't interfere, or where the lighting wasn't too bright but wasn't too dark. And that was kind of because we only had time around like the late afternoon, early evening to really shoot. So that was one of the challenges, but it is my first film, so I'm not really beating myself up for it. But I know for the future references, I really got to keep that in mind. Everything really did go as planned, actually, because we did it in 2 days. We first did the first shot, the first few shots the first day, and then 2 days later we did the last of them, and then the voiceover. Here in Vegas, it's always hot and in like good weather, quote unquote. So there was no weather changes. All of us had like basically the same work schedule, so it all worked out. But yeah, it's kind of funny because I had to kind of put in food because I had to feed them after we shot, but it was all worth it. They're amazing people. I've known them for a few years now. As I said, we share the same interests. We have the same friend groups. So this was really fun for us. One of them actually wants to be an actress when she's a little older or when she gets into acting school. So this is kind of like her welcoming, even though it's not that great. I learned about improv, not more of like speech improv like most people think improv is, but more like item improv, because I didn't have a box, but I have a tin. We use an abandoned hospital over a real hospital because all our hospitals in Vegas are very, very busy and packed. And also we improv someone's bed to be a hospital bed, even though I didn't have any wires hooked to it, but I could have improv that as well. But I learned to really do improv, to do makeshift things. And I also made sure to really incorporate all of the most important things in the, not in the series, but in the film, even though I thought they were mundane and not important. But that's beside the fact. I'm proud of the angles, especially with Edna's deathbed, how I kind of did a panorama. At first, I did that take like 4 times, I'm not gonna lie. With that 4 times to take, she couldn't, you know, lay still for a minute. And then there are times where I almost dropped the phone, or I thought it was too crooked and not like an emotion that I liked it. So that was one thing that I really learned to do. And then basically to, as I said, learn to improv, because even though I could improv a lot more better, I learned to do it because, as I said, we used what we had. As girls in our 20s that still live with their parents and have low-income jobs, like, it's we used what we had, and we had so much fun. So that's another thing that I have been particularly proud of as well. Major takeaways, as I said, I have to pay attention more of like when I'm filming, because it was during the late afternoon, early evenings, so obviously my shadow was always like in the way, and then lighting, because of that, lighting became really bad. And then I could have had it more sporadic, to where like we didn't have to shoot everything all at once. It could just be like, okay, 2 scenes here, 2 scenes this day, 2 scenes the other day. It could be more sporadic, but that's besides the point. That I will know for future references. And then basically I enjoyed it, actually. Like, I didn't think I would enjoy it because I'm not like a camera person, and I don't like take pictures of a lot. But like making this small film just made me realize how much I love being behind the camera and developing a story that was on paper, that could be on a big screen or a small screen. I found that out about myself, which is so cool, because I never thought I'll ever be into directing. I always liked the writing portion, but the directing part was pretty cool. And as you can see from our bloopers that I've shown you, I had so much fun. We had so much fun. The crew had so much fun. So I'm hoping to do this again in the future. But yeah. Thank you so much.